Hey guys, it's KJ Del Rey, aka Lady in Red. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing episode 2 of my Nightshade Hour podcast. As always, I'm here for you every Sunday night or Monday morning, depending on what you're doing. Or when you're watching this, I should say, and what you're doing, whether you're just drinking your morning coffee, whether you're stuck in traffic, on your way to work, on your way to school, on your way to take your child to school, because I know a few of y'all are parents who watch me, or just whatever you're doing, or whether you're just chilling at home on a Sunday night, or chilling on a Monday morning. Maybe you have the day off on Mondays, or on Sunday nights. Who knows? Everybody's different, but just sit back and relax and enjoy this podcast because we got some things to talk about, as always. Um, so this week, for this week's podcast, I was gonna have a guest, which we ended up not being able to work something out this week because whenever they wanted to record it, I was busy. Whenever I wanted to record it, they were busy. So we'll probably end up recording it sometime next week or this week. I guess I should say going into next week. Probably do it before the weekend, cause um I guess I learned my fair share of I need to work. Like, it's easier for me to do a last minute podcast by myself, but not when I have guests. When I have guests, I need to record it on like a Wednesday night or something, not on a Saturday night, which is the night prior to when the podcast is scheduled to be released, because that's probably not gonna work out. For me, if I'm just doing it by myself, 100%, yeah, I can do it last minute, I can do it whenever I want, but if I have a guest, it's not gonna work that way. I have to do it a few nights prior to Saturday night, which Saturday night for me is recording night. But anyways, I'm not gonna say who the guest is because that would spoil it, and I like giving y'all surprises. But anyways, I guess what we'll talk about, considering I didn't put down a community post asking y'all what to talk about this week because, once again, I forgot because I was going to do it with a guest, so I already had certain topics picked out for that, but now it's kind of like, oh, well, kind of want to save those topics for when I do the podcast with this person, which is fine. So I guess I'll just be pulling things out of my ass this podcast, which is something that I do in every single live stream that I do, so it shouldn't be much of an issue, and it shouldn't, and like I said, or what I'm trying to say is I kind of do this in my normal everyday conversations because I can't shut the hell up ever. Like, that's just how I am. Very, very, very big people person and people pleaser. So, I guess what we're going to talk about is the new releases that's going on right now in the gaming world. So Call of Duty Cold War got released, and to me, Call of Duty, I never really got too into it. My brother used to be really obsessed with it, so I think that's why I do have a soft spot for it, and I do like it. I don't absolutely hate it or whatever. I don't usually get it every time it releases because I usually feel like it's the same thing over and over again, copy and paste, but, a lot of my friends, usually like all your friends get that game, so it's like you kind of have to get that game because it's fun to play it with your other friends. And so my buddy is game sharing it to me because I didn't want to pay $60 for it, and yeah. So I'm going to stream that. I'm gonna do the campaign for that because I love Call of Duty campaign. Like, just amazing. And one reason that made me want to play it is because Zombies is back, and what a lot of people don't know about me is Nazi Zombies is like my staple. Like that was the first time when I was about maybe 9 or 10, I started, getting into the multiplayer games. That was the first thing that I would do, like, in the multiplayer stuff, multiplayer games. I would get on Call of Duty World at War, and I would play Nazi Zombies. I would play, like, Team Deathmatch and Capture the Flag and all that every now and again, but my thing was Nazi Zombies. I loved Nazi Zombies. It was my all-time favorite. And it still is, just they kind of overdo it sometimes and it's just not, that fun or whatever. But in this Call of Duty Cold War, I heard that they're going to be taking the old zombie maps and stuff and kind of redoing them and then putting them into Cold War, which I'm really excited to try out. And Call of Duty campaign never really, they never disappoint, in my opinion. Like, Call of Duty World at War campaign was the best one by far, probably, or Modern Warfare. They're both up there. And a lot of people were shocked when I said that I was going to stream Cold War, because they're like, "You're playing a shooter? You're playing like a first-person shooter game?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like, I play those. I like first-person shooters. I play everything." People always get confused. They're like, "Oh, I thought you only play Dead by Daylight." Dead by Daylight is what I'm obsessed with, and that's what I've been obsessed with within the past couple of months. But I love everything, with first-person shooters. I freaking love Doom. Like, any of the Doom games. I love Doom. I love Call of Duty. Um, Fallout 4 and Fallout 3, believe it or not, those can be considered first-person shooter games, because a majority of the time, that is what you're doing. You're in battle. And same thing with Halo, and with a bunch of other games. Like, I like first-person shooter games. That's usually what I first got started on. If besides like Crash and all that, when I was super little, those were the games that I played. But once I got older, like 8, 9, 10, I really liked the first-person shooter games. And plus, that's what I was around. Like I said, my brother really liked first-person shooter games, and so did my dad. They liked sports games and first-person shooter games, and that's what I was around when I was growing up. But the only reason that I don't stream first-person shooter games, really nowadays, is because, to me, they're all kind of the same. Like, if you look at, like, Fortnite, and Rogue Company, and freaking Apex Legends, like, they're all the same in some aspect. Kind of, like, they're fun. They're fun, don't get me wrong. Like, I like Apex. Rogue is okay. I don't like Fortnite, but Fortnite's it's on like a whole nother level of a first-person shooter. It's more than first-person shooter in my opinion, but they all just seem the same. And Rainbow Six Siege, like, it's like copy and paste with them. Like, they're fun, but not something that I'm going to be obsessed with and always want to play, like Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is very repetitive and very disgusting and cringe and toxic, but I don't think it's any different than any other multiplayer game out there right now. And the thing is that the difference between first-person shooter multiplayer games and horror multiplayer games is that there's a bunch of first-person shooter games, multiplayer games, but if you look at it now, there's not that many horror multiplayer games. Like, we still do have Friday the 13th, but the dedicated servers have recently been shut down, like I talked about in my last podcast. And you can still play Friday the 13th online, but there's no more dedicated servers, so if you have crap internet and you're the host, everybody's gonna get kicked. It's gonna be we're gonna be like how it was in 2017. Imagine if Friday the 13th came out in 2007. But back in 2017, when Friday the 13th first came out, we did not have dedicated servers. So for me, it won't be that difficult. I've seen people play it now without the dedicated servers. I don't think it's that bad. Just, it will be annoying if people that have bad internet are playing and it keeps getting you kicked from the match. That will be annoying. But other than Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight, what multiplayer horror game is out there that's fun and that you can keep playing? Like, for a while, we had a game called Don't Even Think. And that was kind of horror and first-person shooter, kind of. I never really played it, but I always liked watching people play it, And I think what it was, like, to explain it the best way I can, excuse me, I keep burping because I just ate dinner. But, it was a wolf and survivors, and you would have to shoot the wolf. And it was just fun to watch. I always wanted to play it, but I can never find people to play it with or whatever. Or mostly when I say that, it's find people to play it with within my schedule, because if you know me personally or if you just watch my live streams, my schedule is very weird when it comes to gaming and live streaming and all of that. I'm mostly just up at nighttime. Like, there's been people who message me at 2 p.m. and they're like, oh my gosh, girly, let's play this or whatever. And then I get on at like 9 p.m. and I'm like, what's good? Like, I may be up during the day, but I am not on my PS4 playing games during the day most of the time. A majority of the time. Unless, like, my dad or my sister is on my PS4, which is also a hard never happens. But, there's like, what happened with Don't Even Think was they freaking, what did they do? They made their survivors super, super OP to where you could kill the wolf with, like, no problem at all. And the players were very pissed off about it to the point where everybody just stopped playing it. And Don't Even Think just closed their servers and you can't play it anymore. And it's sad because that game had really good potential. Like, I almost was considering, like, playing it all the time, making it, like, a streaming thing all the time. But they just, you know, you gotta be careful with what you nerf and what you buff in video games, when in the multiplayer games, of course. And don't even get me started on Resident Evil Resistance. That game's is not gonna have any more updates anymore either. And you wanna know why? Because it's garbage as hell as well, because these multiplayer companies and the people who are in charge of multiplayer companies, the video game companies that are in charge of, like, the multiplayer, like, stuff, they're not good, like, at what they do. They don't know how to make it interesting and keep it interesting, because the problem with Resident Evil Resistance for me was they kept buffing the killers, they're called masterminds on Resident Evil Resistance, and they would keep nerfing the survivors. If I remember correctly, there was a survivor on there called Valerie, and her special ability was she would get infinite Molotov cocktails, and it was very good. You know, it wasn't necessarily OP. I mean, it may have been a little OP, but the special doesn't last that long. It's cool, you know. It was, you know, it was counterable or whatever, and they freaking nerfed it. They nerfed Valerie with the Molotov cocktails, and I was so upset. And don't even get me, like, once they did that first buff on Nikolai, to where he had those machine guns, to where he could basically shoot you for as long as he wanted without any cooldown, that's when I was like, okay, girl, like, I'm done. I gave Resistance a very big chance, though, because obviously I love Resident Evil, and I wanted a multiplayer game that wasn't Friday the 13th or Dead by Daylight, that was actually good. And Resistance was fun, but Resistance was very unbalanced, and if you were playing with randoms, if you didn't have a full squad, which you probably never did because nobody liked Resistance, you were dealing with the most brain-dead teammates ever. It was worse than Dead by Daylight randoms, and it was sure as hell worse than Friday the 13th randoms. It was just, yeah, I'm really glad that not many people play Resistance anymore. I have this friend of mine, his name is Eddie. I'm sure you've seen him on a Dead by Daylight stream, and we played Resident Evil 5 a while back, but he was really on Resistance. He was probably one of the most dedicated people towards it. He would play it every day to get his daily rewards and all that, and it got to the point to where it was just too stressful. You know, like, if he was like, it feels like it's a damn job every time I log on now, like, it's not even fun. And I'm like, if it's not even that fun, like, Eddie, just delete it. But he had an attachment to the game, which I can, you know, fully agree with, and I can relate to that. And he said that once he finally deleted it, he felt like he could see his hairline again. Like, he said that he was, like, losing hair over Resistance, and I believe it, because Resistance was a big, heaping hot pile of dog crap. And if you haven't already, let that game go, girl, because it is not worth it. Let any game go that's like that, because there'll be times when Dead by Daylight's pissing me off and it's just rubbing me the wrong way, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna turn you off tonight, and I'm just not gonna sink to your level tonight, girl. I'm not on the level of toxicity tonight. But what else could I talk about? I'm going cold, girl, so I gotta think of something quick to talk about. Okay, TikTok. Now, for a while, I wasn't against getting TikTok, but I was like, I was on Vine for a while, for a long time. I love Vine. It's not around anymore, obviously. That's why TikTok's around. But Vine was a big part of my life. I didn't make videos on it, but I was all about it up until it got deleted. And when TikTok came out, I'm like, I feel like I'm cheating on Vine if I was to download it and start using it. So that's the reason why I didn't do it for a long time. I didn't want to download TikTok for a while, because I'm like, I feel like I'm cheating on Vine. But so I finally did, and I actually make videos on there. If you want my TikTok, let me know. I'll probably put it in the description, because I love clout, and I'm a freaking whore when it comes to attention, obviously. The biggest attention whore you will ever meet when it comes to things like that. But, I mostly just post videos or little clips from my live streams or whatever, because my friend Richie Valentine, he told me, because he's really big on TikTok. Like, he has thousands of followers, thousands of views, thousands of likes from, like, posting clips of him doing something on Dead by Daylight. And he told me about it, and he's like, you could be viral on TikTok, or you could just make really funny videos on TikTok. You should do it. And I was like, okay. Never did it. A couple months passed, and I'm like, you know what? I was bored one night. I was in a group chat with, I think, obviously my girl Mel, Harland, Josh, Tyga. Sarah, if I forget somebody, I'm gonna be really sad. Dark. Basically all those homies, they were putting their TikTok links and all that, and I'm like, I made a TikTok, because, like, I thought it was going to get deleted back when they said it was going to get deleted. So I made one and I had it on my phone in case it did get deleted, so I could, like, sell my iPhone for thousands of dollars or something. But they were also, like, posting their TikTok links, so I'm like, I'll get back on it or whatever, and I followed all them on it. And then, of course, Richie was like, girl, when are you going to post your TikTok videos? You got to get into that. It's going to be so much fun. So I'm like, okay, I'll post one. The first TikTok I posted did relatively well. It got over 1,000 views. It did relatively well. I was pretty shook when I saw all the feedback I got on it. So I was like, you know what? We'll keep doing this or whatever. The last couple of videos that I posted didn't really, pop out, kind of. They mostly just flopped like a fish. But I like the videos, and I have the same mentality when it comes to TikTok as I do with YouTube. If a video or a stream flops, I don't necessarily care unless I generally love the game and I'm having fun doing the game. Then I don't care. The video can flop out once, because guess what? Your girl still had fun while she was doing it, so it doesn't matter to me. But anyways, Spider-Man. Miles Morales. Okay. So this is a sequel that I've been waiting for a while. When did the first Spider-Man come out? The Spider-Man for PS4? I think it was 2018. So we haven't really waited that long. 2 years isn't really that long. We knew that there was going to be an update, or not an update, a sequel. I almost said reboot. I'm used to Resident Evil and all the reboots and all that, but we were expecting a sequel because at the end of the first Spider-Man, obviously, y'all remember what happened. We find out that Miles has Spidey senses and all that. So we're like, yes, we're gonna get a sequel. And it's only $50, which I'm really loving that it's only $50, because it's basically copy and paste. Like, it's the same map as the first Spider-Man, but, like, obviously different missions, different villains and stuff like that, which I'm so freaking excited to get into. And if anybody spoils it for me, I'm going to punch somebody in their freaking esophagus, because I love Spider-Man, I love Marvel. I am your typical white nerd, you know. There's nothing, basic white nerd, nothing to see here. Just over here fanboying about a damn make-believe hero. Because, what else do we have to live for? This world could use a Spider-Man, and an Iron Man, and a Hulk, and a Captain America, even though I'm not that big of a fan of Captain America, and Thor, and all that. Nobody come for me because I said I'm not a fan of Captain America. What does he do that is so interesting? Tell me that much. But, I'm going to get that next Friday because I wanted to get it this Friday, but I didn't have the expenses for it. Paycheck didn't come in. So I have to wait a week. That's why I'm saying nobody better spoil it for me or I will punch you in your larynx. So watch out, girl. But also, what we should also talk about is Dead by Daylight. New killer reveal, girl. Anytime there's any new news revolving Dead by Daylight, we had to go off and say that. But my thoughts on it. They're called the Twins, and I think it's a dope design. I don't know how it's gonna be playing them. It seems like it's going to be something that's going to make me rage, but it looks very fun to go against. Like, just imagine being chased by, a little baby. Like, this design right here, I kind of feel like they should have maybe kept this idea for maybe a Seed of Chucky chapter, to where, Chucky is, Victor, the little baby's name is Victor. Like, that would be dope. And plus, I feel like Chucky is the one killer that people are always asking for. You know what I mean? When it comes to, what kind of killer would you want to see on Dead by Daylight? Everybody and their mother always says Chucky. For me, I mean, I would like to see Chucky, don't get me wrong, but for me, I always say Candyman. I don't know why, but I feel like Candyman would be a great addition to Dead by Daylight. I don't know, it just... Come on, he's creepy as hell. If you haven't already watched Candyman, the old Candyman from the 90s. Because it's kind of creepy. I mean, it's not terrifying, but it's kind of creepy. And if it happened to you in real life, you would probably be scared as hell. And traumatized for the rest of your life. It has a very deep meaning, too. It's very crazy. I love Candyman, though. And, I'm really excited to play the killer. Because it actually looks better and more fun to play as than Blight does. And why I bring up Blight is because he was the last chapter, the newest chapter. And is there anybody who likes playing as Blight? I'm not judging you. You guys know I don't judge anyone. But, is there anybody who actually has fun with it? Do you do good as him? Do you get your 4Ks? Are you rank 1 over him? What's the hype, girls? Because I just can't get on the same wavelength as you with Blight. It's like Nurse. It's like playing as Nurse. I can't get good. Maybe it's me. Maybe I just suck. Well, I know I suck at the game. I mean, please. I main Ghostface and Pig. How good can I be? You know what I mean? And my first main and my husband is the Doctor. So how good am I really at being killer? I only am good enough to do my dailies and my rift challenges and all that. I've never been red rank killer or anything like that. Maybe one day, but as of now, I'm perfectly fine with being green rank killer and red rank survivor. I'm completely fine with that. Being a toxic survivor is much fun, but I do like being a toxic killer too. But what else could I talk about? Oh yeah, there's Survivor. I can't remember what her name is for the life of me, but she looks pretty. She looks pretty. She's got a good default outfit. Can't complain about that at all. And one teachable of hers that I'm excited to use is I can't think of the name of it, but it's basically like if you recover, like if you're on the ground, if the killer slugs you or whatever, and you recover maybe halfway or something, you'll get the ability to, when the killer picks you up and you walk through a pallet, you'll get the ability to slam a pallet down and break free out of the killer's grasp. Like, that was something that I always thought about in my head. Like, when the killer picks me up, I'm always like, the survivor's arms and hands are completely, free. Like, and if we walk through a pallet, we could easily grab onto a pallet and slam it down. And we could probably break free from that. Like, I always thought of it, but I never said it. And I know a bunch of people are going to be like, oh, yeah, you're so fake. Like, come on, let's be realistic here. Like, you're just saying it because now it's obviously an idea. Like, I thought of it before, I just never said it. But that's freaking genius. And you know what would even be more genius with that, girl? Is if you put flip-flop with that. What flip-flop does is when you're recovering on the ground from getting slugged, if you recover all the way, you will gain half progress on your wiggle, which has saved many people from getting hooked or killed in endgame. And if you combine those two together, I just feel like it would make magic happen. So, calling that right now. That's going to be fun to use. As far as movies and TV shows this week, I didn't really watch much new things this week. I watched Easy A this week. I didn't finish it. It was okay. I didn't watch it before. It was okay. It was something different to watch. I've mostly just been playing Stardew Valley on my Nintendo Switch. I love Stardew Valley. If you guys haven't played it already, you can play it on literally anything: the Xbox One, the PS4, the PC, your gaming laptop. I think you can even get it on mobile. Like, you can just play Stardew Valley. It's a good. It's kind of like Animal Crossing, but like you're like a farmer. It's like upgraded Farmville. Like, come on, girl. It's so much fun. It's peaceful. It's what I needed this week, because I was having a very bad mental health week, I guess you could call it. Was having a lot of problems with that, and I just needed something to kind of ease my mind, which is why I wasn't really streaming this week, and I do apologize for that. Hopefully this week we can get some Call of Duty streams in, some Dead by Daylight, of course. Girl, I would drop dead before I would not release another Dead by Daylight live stream. And Spider-Man live streams. As soon as I get it on Friday, we'll live stream it for we could go up to 8 hours, girl, because you know how I am with a new game. When The Last of Us 2 came out, we did probably 6-hour streams a night until we passed it, and that was very painful, because that was a very, very bad game to get through. But I managed to do it, and once again, like I did with The Last of Us 2, I'm going to make this problem with Spider-Man. I am going to live stream it until I pass the story. Not 100% it, even though I'm going to try it 100% it, but in case something comes up and I can't, or it's too hard or whatever, which is never the case. I always look it up if I don't know what to do, or have somebody help me. But we're going to complete Spider-Man. We might do it 100%, but for now I'm making the promise that we will complete the story, because come on, when have I ever broke a promise when it came to passing a story? I told you I was gonna pass The Last of Us 2, and I freaking hated The Last of Us 2. I wanted to quit on it. It was like freaking cutting off, it was like biting nails. It was like cutting teeth with me to play that game. And I did 6-hour streams every single night. Boom, boom, boom. Tour bus, another club, no sleep. That's how I was with The Last of Us 2, and I hated it. But you know what my drive was and my passion was to keep going with it? It was y'all, because I made the promise to y'all. But anyways, thank you so much for listening, you guys. I'm sorry maybe this week's podcast wasn't that interesting. I don't know. I didn't really have any ideas in mind, and like I said, I forgot to ask y'all what we could talk about this week. But I still managed to get some things together for us to talk about and discuss. Definitely let me know your thoughts on the podcast and what you would like me to talk about in next week's podcast. Next week's podcast, I'm definitely going to try to get that guest in there, that guest spotlight in there. And like this video, share it to your friends if you want to your mom. Hey, there was a 63-year-old woman in my live stream the other night. Anybody can watch my stuff and be interested. But yeah, guys, I will probably see you in one of my live streams, or if you just listen to my podcast, I'll see you in the next one, because like I said before, I am here for you every Sunday night and Monday morning. I love you guys, God bless, and take care, y'all.